You think anybody's ever taught these people how to park anywhere? About basic manners. Uh-huh. You'll notice there's an obstruction of the walkway right there too. Nice little habit of parking in the walkway there. There's no wheelchair access on that sidewalk there. But anyway, give me a second. I was gonna get my shears and go cut one of the tomatoes because since it's been kind of cold, some of them have gone dormant. The ones in pots, especially. I guess you could kind of see how green the one in the ground is versus the ones in the pots. So, yeah, I'll just run inside for these. But, interesting little neighborhood dynamic here, huh? Well, once upon a time, maybe like 5 years ago, I thought about keeping these sort of things distinct and separate. You know, I was supposed to be logging, cataloging, and keeping records of my permaculture portfolio stuff, projects, designs, work. And neighborhood bullies were not part of the permaculture plan. Taking a piss, literally have taken a piss on my front step, on my front door. Literally have. Anyway, so these aren't doing too well because of the cold. Not to mention, they shouldn't be this close together in one single pot. So, cutting those back a bit. And I should have had them in the ground by now or in bigger pots independently or just with more space for their roots. But hold up after hold up and whatnot. Got our best little driver there. Superior parking skills. Anyway, I'll compost those later. Uh, Comfrey looks like it's gonna make it through the year. That one, which is great. But this is what I wanted to show. Tomatoes are doing really well right under the canopy of the tree. Um, I removed the shoots off the sides. That's those plants there, and I've got more nating pots. Oh shoot! Okay, I've got more there. Accidentally kicked the litter there that I'm drying. So those need pots, and that's all the soil I have right now. I'll need to order more. Um, 2 pots per, or 2 plants per one of these size pots, which I guess they're called 5-gallon pots. Um, Seems to work for the cherry tomatoes, but the issue is how to. I got the twine now that I ordered. There was a delay on that, even though it was supposed to be here months ago before these were in the ground or in pots or in the ground. I finally got it, so I can make a sort of trellis. This is going to be for the peas, which I'll start germinating here pretty soon and get in the ground. It's a bit rusted. It's not very great for its original intended purpose, which nobody got around to. Um, Again, have some nettle coming up there. You can tell the leaves, kind of. There's one there. There's one there. The ones over here that are self-seeded, I actually had to seed the ones back there. These were self-seeded though. They're doing better. They get better sunlight. I'd like to get some established over here, but this will do fine. Yeah. Stop and go, right? Stop and go. Easy for them to look down on the things they rely on, depend on to even be alive. Because they have the ego of a slave master. You know, I don't have to go out on the fields myself. Dumb brute look. Oh, here's one of the little caterpillars. Check them out. I don't know where the other one is. There's a bigger one. Maybe it already pupated somewhere. And again, that's all that. Those are all beer bottles from the park. I hardly ever drink beer, so you know that's all mine. And here's all the broken glass I picked up from the park too. They got a lot of nerve to say they got a lot of anything and not be devoting some of their energy to picking up their own mess out there. A lot of fucking nerve, man. I gotta clean up after you. Alright, so that's gonna. I don't know if I don't think I posted. That's gonna get the poinsettia as it's. That's gonna get planted over there. The bougainvillea is not doing too great right now. Low sun, low temperatures. I removed a lot of the roots when I was transplanting it because I couldn't risk digging around there. Because someone thought it'd be a genius idea to put the water and electrical right under the planter. It's not off to the side. It's not up against the wall. It's right under, and not even all that deep. So about a shovel's depth, which is really inconvenient for planting anything with deep roots over there. There's nothing like that over here. So, no issues with this when I open it up to be a planter. But I've got some negotiating to do, some bargaining, and it could cost me who knows what, given how unfair these negotiations have been going. I feel like I don't even know, man. A prison cell would be more humane. But this has its perks. There's trade offs. I know they wouldn't wish it upon themselves, but anyway. I pulled this down from the roof because my family decided to use it to cover up a patch that had leaks in it without letting me know. I mean, this is reserved for that planter. This is reserved for that. That's what I need that for. Or this, they go together, And they just took the liberty upon themselves to use it up there. Oh man, it was dirty up there. I had to sweep so much dirt off there. So dirty up there. I mean, I washed this, and look, it's still kind of dirty. Look at that. There's so much dust in the air here because around the developing areas, all of TJ, I mean, it's mismanaged. They don't want to leave what has already been doing a good job. They want to plow it over and build houses on it, and they don't stabilize the wildlife around, so it's like a big open sore. Like they don't even allow to scar. Anyway, so I got that down. I'll be able to patch up some leaks on the roof, but we got to be dealing with shit like this. Like, you see that humidity right there? Look at that. Salt, mineral damage from the water. It's corroding the wall right here. Fortunately, that's solid brick. It's not just concrete. Those are solid red bricks. All the way up to about that line right there. But it's still pretty bad because that wall, this wall is within this property line. That's not theirs, and they're damaging it. And my family's letting them, basically, because they're not living here. I did promise that they were going to sign it over. That was one of the conditions for me to leave the house in Comiles. They were like, please come over. We're worried about you. We want you to be closer to us. And I was like, I don't know. I've got a lot planned and a lot done here already. And they're like, please, if you come over, we'll give you the house. Promise, we'll support you. Bullshit. Now I'm stuck here without so much support, and they pull strings here or change things up there, and then they get in the way or threaten me, give me weird looks if I talk about opening this square up for a planter strip here, or any change here. They throw in their opinion. I told them months and months ago, actually since I got here, 2020, since I got back here, that room in the back needs to go. Because they didn't listen to me in 2019 when I told them that roof was going to collapse. Well, it did collapse. I was right. I didn't have to do anything. I was hoping it wouldn't collapse. That's why I had so much of my own personal belongings back there in storage. I had a whole room planned there that I was going to use as my own room. And I kind of used it as a closet too. I kept my clothes in there. They allowed the roof to collapse. All my shit got wet. Needed to get washed, re-washed to get the mold smell off. I got rid of some of that clothes, and they still haven't got rid of it. And I'm like, you know what? It needs to go. And now, where are all those claims that this place is mine? No. It's mine if it's a burden. It's mine if they can damage me with it, but it's not mine if I say something goes and I say something needs to be a certain way. Then it's theirs. Then they butt in. It's ridiculous. So that's the dynamic here with the damage on the wall right there from the humidity. And then this wall right here. The reason they don't support me in reinforcing this wall here is because they say the neighbor over there is going to complain the humidity. And I'm like, well, okay, if we dig down, reinforce that as much as that one is, there won't be any issue with humidity there for that planter. And then if they, on their side, originally, that wall was covered. There was soil there, covering up the foundation of that wall. So it was strong enough. And what did this dude do? This dude, to make his driveway right there, because they have another driveway over on the other side, right? To make their driveway there, he dug up a lot of, you could see the rebar tower thing there too. That's on their side. They went ahead and didn't build a wall because we already did. See the grass there? Nice and green. A lot of noise. Wait it out. I got some lichen on those bricks. Those two bricks right there. Back there. Have some lichen growing on them, so I put them there because rocky patch here. And it might colonize the surfaces here. I did put some on the other side though too, in case this gets too much sunlight. I know where I can get some moss around here for this side, but yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna like it very much right now. I go over there and have a look at how much of the wall foundation they've exposed, and they've started to complain. These people here, they not only exposed it, and then that was on their side. They complain if I water this in the summer, and any water comes over onto their side. Look, I'm gonna have to keep watering. Look at those, need water. Those are gonna need water. I need to dig that up. I need to plant things there. You can see I've kind of tried to start a sort of zone 1 planting here. The most frequented stuff closest to the house, instead of scattered about. But look. Oh, actually, You might be able to see there. Yeah, you can. Hold on. There you go. Could remove this for a better look. This stuff is just kind of haphazardly improvised, blocking this to keep the stray cats from crawling through there. And then when I started taking care of these cats, to keep these cats from crawling through there. But have a look, see. Again, there's the rebar. There's the rebar. And the mailbox. That's their property line right there. All the way. There. And instead of well, instead of building their own wall, they complain about this one not being to their liking, which I think is just bullshit on their part, because it looks like they never had any intention. Oh, hey, look, a tomato. Got some onions sprouted there too. Nice color on that tomato. It looks like they never had any intention of building their own wall. That's a window, if you could tell. And those are pipes. No intention, looks like, of ever building their own wall on their side. And they don't look like they have much intention of that either. Right, so having cleaned up, this isn't properly built, by the way. There's a instruction manual it came with some specifications for the vent. Right. So cleaning this up was a pain in the ass because those tarps my parents put up here that, they're not made to patch up leaks. So I had to buy this tape that hopefully goes over that and then gets covered with sealant to prevent leaking any further. Here's a sort of bird's eye view, I guess. Looks less disorganized when you have a little bit of a glimpse from above. Gonna have to get rid of the lime tree. They didn't help me facilitate moving it before it got so far gone, but hopefully I'll be able to plant another lime tree there. I'm thinking of a rootstock, and then on that rootstock, you see that? That's the bravado. That's the self-assurance they have with each other. It's like they think they own the place. Yeah, when you own the place, this is what you want. This is what you want it to look like. Check out that trash can. And that tree, I didn't break that tree in half. When it was recovering from being pruned, because I pruned it at the right time of year, they came along and snapped the trunk at its weakest. And I was kind of at my weakest too, because my leg was broken and recovering at the time. So I couldn't really do much more than put a chicken wire cage around it. That's how comfortable they are with the shit they do. Every day, the bitch from the corner drives by, gives a honk. The friends drive by, give a honk. Anyway, so cleaning this up was a bit of a fucking pain because cats decided to shit up here, and the tarp that my parents put didn't stop leaking, obviously, because the water just goes under it if it's already pooled up here. But you can kind of see the imprint of where the tarp was. It wasn't even that well anchored. So you see kind of like the dark outline there. Right there. All along there. And then back. Right there, it kind of folds in and then it goes there. And then you also see some spots like there, 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 where some bricks were. There's another one right there. And then it pulls up right there. But like, so they don't want to take this down. This needs to go. This needs to go. No more any sort of roof here whatsoever. Even that right there, that's an insult. I had a whole plan for how that could get built right there, and an awning here to keep the rain out from that walkway and from splashing against the door. I completely ignored. And then they did it their way. That's the tarp that used to be up here this year for a whole year. It got all tattered and damaged by the UV. So they ignored that. They did it their way, which is shit. You can tell. Look how bad that is. Shit job right there. I would have gotten fired if I did that for work. And that quality was what I was saying was done. It's horrible. That's shit, man. Like I gave the specifications of what material I need and da 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 da, da. And then when they show up with the fucking material, they're like, "We're gonna do it. I'm gonna do it." I was like, "What the fuck? No, I was gonna do it." And there you go. It's done shitly. Very horrible. I did prune these last year, so they're kind of healthy, doing kind of well. Even though I don't want any trees here. We've got a termite problem. So the roots being that close to the house, that much humidity that close to the house is a bit much. I want to get rid of that room right there too. It's like a little shed thing. Need to. And nope, not helping, not facilitating. I mean, I'm the one who recently got their leg broken, and they're not like, we'll help you out with, I shouldn't even be up here right now. No. And they claim to be opposed to like the abusive neighbors and their little tricks and tactics and shit. But I don't see much of it because like my mother will claim, these neighbors over here, they used to climb over all the time, like a little bridge to go over and chit chat with the neighbors over here, you know. And oh, look at him, have a nice little spit all the time. They used to basically hop over, and she said they used to steal stuff. But then I see the way that they side with them instead of me on things like the wall there. And have a look at this. What's the division there? There is literally no division there. I mean, that's like first name basis talking level. And since I've gotten here, a lot of the well, I don't know if you'll recall some of the older recordings. A lot more construction being done, different sorts, and I'm still getting held back. I mean, I'm the one who comes up with ideas, like, for example, use of chain link fence for the upper part because less wind resistance. Ideally, I guess I'll put it in this one. It's already long enough. Ideally, only about this much from here all along the length of the house. The existing structure should remain on that side. Okay? The roof on this part of the house, this half of the house, needs to be higher. This part of the house needs to get phased out in phases. So gradually be removing it. First part that needs to get removed almost immediately, especially before next winter, is this part right here. Ideally before summer. All this structure gone. The washer, I don't have a dryer. I'm owed a dryer. Moved over that way because the drainage access is right down there, right under that bucket right there. Okay, and you can also tell a little bit of the difference of elevation. The walkway is higher than that, and that is in a slope slightly, but very slightly, and higher than that right there. So this is more elevated than that. But ideally, that would be gone. That's the first part that needs to go. And then in phases, the next part to go would be here. Um, you know, those pipes, that's for the hot water, or that's for the water for the shower, the hot water and the water. So the shower starts right about this level. That's the bathroom. And then over to this level right here, which is the other wall. It's not a very big bathroom. And then it extends about this far right here. So this would be removed in phases, like I said. Initially, it gets converted um, into a sort of kitchen sort of thing. The bathroom itself needs to get moved somewhere over here, over in this half or this quarter right here, if not over here, but ideally this way. The walls on the inside here get turned into supports for like a sort of bar type thing with like a countertop. And that's the first phase removed of this part. So in that transition up here, this entire roof needs to get pieced up, torn apart, and taken out, replaced with something. It could be something more temporary, or it could be something actual permanent. But the specifications for both of those are different, and they can't replace each other. So we need to know for sure how fast and how well we're going to move ahead with that. But since ideally this is the only part that's going to remain, this half right here, then the roof over on this part is not as important in terms of making permanent. That's what would need to be made permanent, and again at a higher level than the current one. And then to replace the coverage that this one has, it would have to be inclined a little bit. There would have to be some slope to it, because we can't have this water pooling stuff. It just makes leaks. So what I had thought was an angled sort of roof type thing, like that kind of sort of, that would be able to let winter sunlight in but keep summer daylight indirect, no direct sunlight underneath. And so there wouldn't need to be a floor here necessarily if that could get put in place. But then that would also have to be waterproof to some degree. And there's the issue of, well, that's too much space here that wind and dust would be able to blow under, and the wind would be able to carry rainwater in the event of storms. But if a closer to the surface here flooring type roof, something that could be walked on, were put in place, or even just something with a lot less height, even if it was inclined and not necessarily walkable, was done here on this part, then it would have to be something that could be removed, so that eventually could be what succeeds it, follows it, But the idea there would be that the temperature would be reduced in summer and not terribly reduced in winter. Then eventually, the roof on this part would, like I said, again, that's for that half. That's an ideal shape for that half. And it could be higher, but ideally, in that incline, close to 45 degrees, for summer, winter, you know, dual use. And then this half over here, I would like some part of the structure here to serve as a thermal mass so that higher windows up on this side right here, because the sunlight actually does make it over that ridge right there, does make it over that mountainside right there, or hillside. Except now, especially since they've built there, we've got an obstruction, and at this height, it's negligible. There's hardly any winter daylight coming in. But it would still allow. Oh, look, nice. We've got a garbage fire or house fire or something over there. But at this height, it's, well, it's not zero. It's not what it would be at this level, this half. So that half still has some. At this half, it becomes so much that it's actually practically usable. They've got this wall here, so you can tell in the summer that likely gets pretty warm and heated up, right? Probably ought to have a tree over here. And then eventually, there's more stuff that's less tangible, more adjustable. I can adapt those considerations for design more. But then oh great, I'm gonna start recording when that car passes. Oh, looks like it finally passed. It's 2:30, Saturday, December 17th. And I've already sketched up a few doodles about how to change this up, but I'll go over them here. Maybe having this visual instead of on paper would help. Oh, no honk right now, huh? No honk right now? Uh-huh. So, like I said, that would get torn up to about right there. So from about where the tire ends right there, over, a little rectangle there of a planter. But there's an issue there. I've repeated that 100 times, but the issue is that that wall isn't reinforced like that one is. And then the issue with that one is that even though that one was deep enough in the ground to be reinforced for that height before, now that they've removed so much soil on that side, it's got a structural weakness that it could fall over potentially. Right now, it's just water leaking through, but full saturation or something, it begins to sound believable that it could break, but it's very unlikely. I don't think it will. But they're using it as an excuse to complain to my parents, and my parents complain to me, instead of telling them, well, if you don't like it, why don't you just build your own wall over on your side, which is what they should. But as you can see there, they're on that sort of talking basis. And then on this side, where the wall is sufficiently covered on our end, and even on the other side, they've damaged it. Humidity damage there. There's been some humidity damage on the other side too. In there's been some mold growing on that side on the inside of that wall. So, right, the other planter. So, that would be one of the planters right there, could just leave that there. I don't know about this segment right here remaining paved, or if I were to cut some chunks out of it, because that's the runoff. So the less runoff out onto the street, the more I am complying with, the watershed standards for contaminating the watershed. Less contamination to the watershed. Maybe in the future, when they change their legislation to more ecologically friendly, this house would pass easily. Whereas a lot of these houses, well, you can sometimes even see the stream of dog shit washing down the street right across my front door. And you can even see some of the oil stains there. Those are oil stains. And then homeboy over by the eucalyptus tree over there, he's got this big old vat of used motor oil, spent motor oil, just sitting on the soil right there, leaking, spilling out onto the soil, as if the eucalyptus wasn't enough of an ecological problem. But yeah, so then somewhere along the line where that crack is in that slab right there, kind of from the water faucet over, I'd like to cut another chunk of the concrete out, and you can kind of tell some of it already right around there. At least a foot, 2 to 3 ideally, and then another one right there, about the same width as that one that's already there, but potentially expanding it further this way. I don't know, maybe that's towards the end there. And an issue that comes up is right there is the sewage pipe, and that runs, that's where the shower, the toilet, the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink, they all go out to the road that way. So that over there under that blue bucket lid thing, that connects there. So whatever designs, you want to remove as little as possible for the most effect, and still have at the end the best outcome long term, without having to completely overhaul everything at every stage, right? So those would be for those planters. Then I've got a little bit of a up in the air, undecided on how much of this is going to have to get torn up, whether we can keep these trees alive or not, pot them up, move them, don't know. This can't be safe space for termites. It just can't. Even if none of the house is built out of wood, like that one, like that wood frame was, you can tell how much termite damage has happened to it already. You see that there? Those blinds are from inside. Took them out. Right, so you can't really tell. But lots of termite damage. What else? Yeah. So then that little segment of the wall between the house and that wall right there, you can also kind of tell the height that wall is at. It's basically the house level right there, which this other one on this side hasn't been brought up to. It's a difference of maybe 1 or 2 blocks, cinder blocks. So this would have to be brought up anyway, right? And then, like I was saying, the idea of the planters on this side is at that level where my parents supposedly wanted to have some sort of privacy screen right there. That just doesn't look good. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking there, but in terms of like more permanent privacy screen, something that wouldn't grow on the fence, which I've already got a plant that might grow on the fence. But the issue is how far off the ground that wall is to even start to grow on the fence without a trellis. And even with a trellis, plants have their limits to how long or off the ground how high they can grow. So I kind of agree. Some sort of privacy screen would be helpful, useful, practical, needed, maybe even just for basic standards. But that's pretty low. That's pretty low to the ground there. So anything that's easily 10 feet off the ground right there. It would have to be something really tall for this height right here